Static crackles across a screen as a distorted alien transmission breaks through. Their ultimatum echoes. Humanity has been evaluated and deemed suitable for servitude, with 48 hours to submit to their new overlords. But the scene shifts abruptly to a modern office boardroom. An alien commander sits awkwardly in an ill-fitting Earth business suit, tentacles twitching as a calm human HR manager reviews their paperwork. The invasion force never expected their conquest would involve triplicate forms, mandatory training videos, and endless bureaucratic loops. The true horror wasn't the alien invasion. It was humanity's weapon of choice, bureaucracy. Through endless paperwork, broken printers, archived files, and customer service labyrinths, Earth found an unexpected path to victory. This is how humanity transformed an alien invasion into the galaxy's most frustrating corporate onboarding process. The beings who came to enslave us became trapped in something far worse: human administrative procedures. The first signs appeared on every electronic screen worldwide: smartphones, billboards, ATMs, even coffee makers. An advanced alien civilization had arrived, calling themselves the Krixians. Their massive ships, stretching miles across Earth's skies, displayed technology centuries beyond human capability. The Krixians presented themselves as the galaxy's supreme bureaucratic force, having conquered and administrated thousands of worlds through their perfect system of order. Their crystalline bodies sparkled with internal light as they broadcasted their demands across Earth's networks. Their civilization had spent millennia perfecting the art of absolute control through systematic organization. Initial scans of Earth had convinced them that humans were ideal servants, a species still struggling with primitive digital systems, outdated infrastructures, and chaotic organizational methods. The Krixians saw humanity's apparent technological backwardness as proof of their suitability for submission. What the aliens failed to understand was that Earth's systems weren't primitive by accident. Humanity had evolved alongside chaos, learned to breathe it, weaponized it into an art form. Where the Krixians saw disorder crying out for correction, humans saw comfortable flexibility. Where they identified inefficiency, Earth recognized necessary adaptability. The Krixian demands were specific. Earth would integrate into their galactic management system. All human institutions would adopt Krixian organizational protocols. Their perfect order would replace Earth's chaos. Resistance would result in immediate planetary reorganization, a process no species had survived. But the Krixians made a critical error in their assessment. They assumed Earth's bureaucratic systems were simply failed attempts at achieving order. They never considered these systems might be purposefully designed to create controlled chaos. They didn't realize that humans had spent centuries perfecting the art of institutional friction. The aliens gave Earth 48 hours to begin integration. In response, humanity activated its most powerful defense system. Not missiles or shields, but something far more insidious: Earth's combined bureaucratic machinery. Every government agency, every corporate office, every administrative department began implementing compliance procedures for the alien takeover. As the Krixians soon discovered, conquering Earth would require navigating human bureaucracy first. Their perfect order was about to collide with humanity's masterpiece of administrative chaos. And no amount of advanced technology could prepare them for the nightmare of Earth's customer service systems. The global panic lasted exactly 3 hours. That's how long it took for humanity's bureaucratic machinery to spring into action. While civilians stocked emergency supplies and governments mobilized military forces, an army of administrators, office managers, and civil servants began their counteroffensive. The first response came from the United Nations Office of Extraterrestrial Administrative Affairs, a department that hadn't existed until 20 minutes after the Krixian ultimatum. Their initial message to the alien fleet requested 47 different forms of identification, proof of authority to issue planetary ultimatums, and documentation of compliance with intergalactic workplace safety standards. When the Krixians attempted to bypass this requirement by demonstrating their superior technology, they received automated responses about scheduled system maintenance and recommendations to try again in 3 to 5 business days. Their threats of immediate planetary reorganization were met with polite emails explaining that reorganization requests needed to be submitted at least 6 months in advance, with appropriate environmental impact studies. The aliens' first real taste of Earth's defensive capabilities came when they attempted to directly interface with human computer systems. Their advanced AI encountered something that defied their understanding: Windows updates. Their perfect computational matrices crashed against the chaos of human programming, where every fix created 3 new problems and documentation was always outdated. But humanity's true advantage revealed itself through careful observation. The Krixians' crystalline bodies literally cracked under stress. Their perfect order couldn't handle unexpected variables or system crashes. When faced with illogical procedures or circular requirements, their crystalline forms developed visible fractures. A pattern emerged. Each time the aliens encountered human bureaucracy, their efficient processes short-circuited. Their attempts to implement standard conquest protocols met an endless maze of departments, each with different and often contradictory requirements. Their digital systems, designed for perfect order, couldn't process the beautiful chaos of human databases, where critical information lived in email chains titled Lunch Plans Thursday and Important. The International Coalition of Administrative Defense, ICAD, formed within hours, connecting government agencies, corporate offices, and public institutions worldwide. Their strategy: weaponize every frustrating administrative experience humanity had ever created. DMV waiting systems were repurposed into alien containment protocols. Tax code complexity became a shield against Krixian logic processors. Meanwhile, human bureaucrats noticed something extraordinary. The more frustrated the Krixians became, the more they resembled their own kind of bureaucrats. Their demands for Earth submission began including footnotes, appendices, and requests for proper filing procedures. Some alien commanders started insisting on maintaining proper paperwork, even during their threats of planetary destruction. The turning point came when a junior office assistant in Paraguay accidentally discovered the Krixians' fatal weakness. During a standard invasion procedure, she asked an alien commander to fill out a form that referenced itself in an infinite loop. The crystalline being spent 3 hours attempting to resolve the circular logic before its form shattered into perfectly organized shards. ICAD quickly developed this discovery into a strategic advantage. They began introducing small inconsistencies into all interactions with the alien force. Forms that change requirements mid-completion. Phone systems that transferred callers in endless loops. Printers that worked perfectly until someone needed them urgently. The Krixians found themselves facing an enemy that didn't fight with weapons, but with administrative procedures so chaotic they defied their understanding of reality. Their perfect order couldn't comprehend a species that had not only survived in chaos, but had learned to weaponize it. As Earth's defense strategy unfolded, something unexpected happened. Some Krixians began showing signs of adaptation. Instead of shattering under administrative stress, they started developing coping mechanisms. A few even showed signs of appreciating the creative problem-solving required to navigate human systems. The invasion force that had arrived to enslave humanity found itself slowly being transformed by exposure to Earth's organizational chaos. Their perfect crystalline forms began exhibiting unusual properties: the ability to bend rather than break, to adapt rather than shatter. It was as if contact with human administrative systems was teaching them a new way of existing. By the end of the first week, Earth's strategy had achieved what no military defense could have managed. The Krixian invasion force wasn't just stopped. It was being fundamentally changed by its encounter with human bureaucracy. The question was no longer whether humanity would survive, but what the Krixians would become through their exposure to Earth's administrative chaos. Main Conflict, Part 2, 1,500 words. The transformation of the Krixian invasion force happened gradually, then suddenly. Their perfectly ordered society began showing cracks, not of destruction, but of evolution. The aliens who had arrived demanding human servants were becoming something entirely unexpected. Middle management. The first major shift occurred when a Krixian commander, attempting to file an official protest about Earth's resistance methods, found himself genuinely enjoying the process of creating new forms to document his complaints. His crystalline structure, once rigidly geometric, developed subtle curves that allowed for more flexible thinking. Within days, he had drafted a 500-page proposal for streamlining the complaint submission process, complete with 17 new subcommittees. Earth's administrative defenders watched in fascination as the invasion force reorganized itself around human bureaucratic principles. Krixian ships, once perfect spheres of crystalline technology, began sprouting office cubicles. Their internal communication systems adopted hold music and automated response menus. Some aliens even started scheduling unnecessary meetings to discuss the efficiency of their invasion timeline. The ICAD's monitoring stations recorded an unprecedented phenomenon. Krixian officers were developing human administrative behaviors. They created redundant documentation, scheduled meetings about scheduling meetings, and most surprisingly, began to procrastinate. Their once perfect execution of orders now included coffee breaks, water cooler conversations, and elaborate excuses for missed deadlines. But the most significant change came from their exposure to Earth's digital chaos. The Krixians' advanced AI systems, designed for perfect order, started incorporating human-style errors and inefficiencies. Their shipboard computers began experiencing the equivalent of Monday morning sluggishness. Critical invasion plans got lost in spam folders or ended up in lengthy email chains where nobody could remember who had the latest version. The invasion force's highest command struggled to maintain control as their perfectly ordered hierarchy dissolved into middle management chaos. Alien officers who once executed orders with crystal clarity now responded with, "Per my last email," and "let's circle back on that." Their threat of planetary reorganization became buried under requests for budget approvals and environmental impact assessments. Meanwhile, humanity's bureaucratic defenders pushed their advantage. They introduced the aliens to Earth's most powerful administrative weapons: quarterly performance reviews, mandatory team-building exercises, and endless training seminars about workplace sensitivity. The Krixian response was unprecedented. They began taking notes and suggesting improvements to the process. The conflict reached its critical phase when Earth unveiled its masterstroke, the implementation of a new, integrated management system. This system promised to streamline all invasion-related processes while actually introducing 17 new layers of complexity. The Krixians, their ordered minds already compromised by exposure to human bureaucracy, embraced it enthusiastically. What followed was beyond anyone's expectations. Krixian ships started requiring parking permits for Earth orbit. Their weapon systems needed authorization from 3 different departments, each with different working hours and lunch breaks. Their once fearsome invasion force became tangled in requisition forms for basic supplies. But the most startling development was the emergence of Krixian office culture. Alien commanders began sending passive-aggressive messages about cleaning the ship's break room. They developed complicated coffee orders and strong opinions about office temperature settings. Some even started planning office parties and organizing potlucks. The transformation reached its peak when a group of junior Krixian officers formed a union. Their demands included better working conditions, more flexible invasion hours, and additional vacation time for conquering primitive planets. The High Command, already struggling with their own bureaucratic evolution, found themselves negotiating with their subordinates about overtime pay for planetary subjugation. Earth's defensive strategy had succeeded beyond all expectations. The Krixians hadn't just been stopped, they had been converted. Their perfect crystalline forms had adapted to incorporate human organizational chaos, developing the ability to thrive in administrative complexity. They became experts at navigating red tape, masters of the unnecessary meeting, and champions of the extended lunch break. Yet this success brought its own complications. The Krixians, now thoroughly integrated into Earth's bureaucratic systems, showed no signs of leaving. Instead, They began applying for permanent positions within Earth's administrative structure. Their ships, once instruments of conquest, were repurposed as floating office complexes with excellent views. The invasion force that had arrived to enslave humanity had become something far more terrifying: corporate consultants. They offered to help optimize Earth systems, not realizing that the inefficiency was intentional. Their suggestions for improvement actually made processes more complex, adding new layers of bureaucracy that even humans found impressive. As the conflict entered its final phase, both species faced an unexpected reality. The Krixians had lost a desire to conquer Earth, but gained an unshakable enthusiasm for administrative procedures. Humanity had successfully defended itself, but now faced the prospect of alien middle management permanently integrated into their organizational structures. The question was no longer about victory or defeat, but about how to manage this new reality where alien bureaucrats had become an integral part of Earth's administrative ecosystem. The invasion had been stopped, but the real challenge was just beginning: dealing with the galaxy's most enthusiastic new office workers. The greatest revelation came 6 months into what historians would later call the administrative invasion. During a routine audit of Krixian integration procedures, a human data analyst discovered something extraordinary in the aliens' personnel files. The Krixians hadn't chosen Earth randomly. They had been drawn to our planet specifically because of our bureaucratic chaos. Their own records revealed a shocking truth: the Krixians' perfect order wasn't natural. It was a prison. Their species had evolved in a state of beautiful chaos, much like humanity. But somewhere in their history, they had become trapped in a self-imposed system of absolute order. Their crystalline forms weren't their original state, but a physical manifestation of their rigid societal structure. Earth's bureaucratic defense hadn't just stopped their invasion. It had accidentally triggered a species-wide awakening. Each frustrating encounter with human administrative chaos had acted like a key, unlocking ancient memories of their more flexible past. The cracks appearing in their crystalline forms weren't signs of breakdown, but of metamorphosis. The evidence was undeniable. Security footage from Earth's offices showed Krixian officers experiencing what they called clarity moments. During particularly chaotic administrative situations, their crystalline forms would briefly reveal swirling, iridescent patterns, echoes of their original fluid nature. These moments increased in frequency as exposure to human systems continued. This discovery led to an immediate shift in Earth strategy. Instead of merely defending against the invasion, humanity began a carefully orchestrated campaign of bureaucratic liberation. The International Coalition of Administrative Defense transformed into the Department of Xenomorphic Administrative Therapy, DXAT. The therapy process was ingenious in its simplicity. Krixians were systematically exposed to increasingly chaotic administrative scenarios. They experienced the DMV during license renewal season. They navigated health insurance claims. They filed taxes with multiple international jurisdictions. Each experience cracked their crystalline shells a little more, revealing the fluid, adaptable beings they once were. But the most effective treatment came from an unexpected source: office holiday parties. The combination of mandatory fun, awkward social interactions, and the chaos of potluck organization proved incredibly effective at breaking down rigid Krixian protocols. Their first attempt at a Secret Santa gift exchange caused a wave of transformations across their entire fleet. As more Krixians underwent this metamorphosis, they revealed an astonishing truth about their species. They had once been masters of controlled chaos, capable of existing in multiple organizational states simultaneously. Their invasion of Earth hadn't been about conquest. Unconsciously, they had been seeking a cure for their own rigidity. The transformation process accelerated. Krixian ships, once perfect crystalline spheres, began redistributing their matter into more organic, flowing forms. Their internal systems abandoned perfect efficiency in favor of more flexible, adaptable processes. Even their technology evolved, incorporating elements of controlled chaos that made it more powerful and unpredictable. This led to the final twist in the invasion saga. The Krixians, now awakening to their true nature, offered humanity a proposal. They wanted to stay on Earth, not as conquerors or servants, but as partners. Their experience with human bureaucratic chaos had taught them something valuable: the power of imperfection. In return for helping them rediscover their fluid nature, they offered to help humanity master the art of controlled chaos. Their transformed technology, combined with human administrative creativity, could revolutionize both species' capabilities. They envisioned a partnership where chaos and order could dance in perfect imperfection. The proposal came with an unexpected revelation. The Krixians revealed that Earth wasn't just a random planet. It was one of the few worlds in the galaxy that had successfully weaponized administrative chaos without losing its creativity and adaptability. Other species had either surrendered to perfect order or collapsed into total chaos. Humanity had found the perfect balance. As the Krixians completed their metamorphosis, they became something entirely new. Their crystalline forms didn't shatter, but transformed into shifting, iridescent shapes that could adapt to any situation. They retained their love for organization, but learned to appreciate the beauty of controlled disorder. They became living embodiments of the balance between chaos and order. This transformation had profound implications for both species. Humanity gained access to advanced alien technology that actually worked better with a little chaos in the system. The Krixians regained their species' lost adaptability while maintaining their organizational expertise. Together, they began developing new systems that embraced both order and chaos, creating something greater than either species could have achieved alone. The invasion that had begun with a demand for human servants had evolved into something far more significant: a partnership that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of organizational dynamics. The beings who came to teach humanity perfect order instead learned the power of perfect imperfection. Resolution: 750 words. Today, 5 years after the failed Krixian invasion, Earth's offices present an extraordinary sight. Crystalline beings flow through cubicle mazes alongside human colleagues, their forms shifting between solid and fluid states as they navigate daily tasks. The invasion that threatened to enslave humanity instead revolutionized intergalactic workplace culture. The Krixian Human Administrative Partnership, HFY, has become the galaxy's most sought-after management consulting firm. Their specialty: teaching other species the art of controlled chaos. Their motto, perfection through imperfection, adorns office walls in 17,000 star systems. Earth's reputation has transformed dramatically. Once seen as a primitive world of bureaucratic disorder, it's now recognized as the birthplace of administrative evolution theory. The planet attracts students from across the galaxy, eager to study the delicate balance between chaos and order that humans mastered seemingly by accident. The partnership's greatest achievement came from combining Krixian technology with human organizational patterns. The result: quantum computers that actually work better when slightly broken, spaceships that navigate through bureaucratic space-time, and artificial intelligence systems that include scheduled coffee breaks in their processing cycles. Perhaps the most significant change appeared in how both species approach problem-solving. Humans learned to appreciate the value of certain ordered systems, while the Krixians embraced the creative potential of controlled disorder. Together, they developed a new organizational philosophy called structured chaos management. The former invasion fleet, now converted into floating office complexes, hosts the galaxy's most unusual corporate training programs. Alien species send their brightest minds to learn the art of administrative warfare. The graduation ceremony involves successfully navigating Earth's tax system while maintaining psychological stability. One unexpected outcome: the galaxy's first interspecies union of middle managers. Their collective bargaining agreements include clauses about proper technical support in office chairs and the right to exist in multiple organizational states simultaneously. Their monthly meetings technically never end. They just shift through different phases of completion. The Krixians' original mission to impose perfect order on humanity has become a running joke in break rooms across the galaxy. Some transformed Krixians even framed their original invasion orders as motivation posters, usually captioned with "Perfection is the enemy of getting anything done." Yet beneath the humor lies a profound truth. The failed invasion revealed something fundamental about the nature of existence itself. Perfect order, they discovered, wasn't just impossible, it was undesirable. The universe thrived on a delicate dance between chaos and structure, much like a well-run office running slightly behind schedule. The story of the invasion that became an integration serves as a reminder that sometimes the greatest threats can become the greatest opportunities. Humanity's greatest weakness, its chaotic nature, proved to be its greatest strength. The Krixians' perfect order, which they thought was their power, turned out to be their limitation. Now, as human and Krixian children attend the same schools, learning both structured mathematics and creative disorder, the future looks brighter than anyone could have predicted. The beings who came to demand human servants instead became partners in mastering the art of administrative chaos. And somewhere in a converted Krixian ship, a human-alien team is filing paperwork about filing paperwork, knowing they're maintaining the perfect balance that keeps the galaxy running. Slightly behind schedule, slightly over budget, but always moving forward in its own beautifully chaotic way.